You just heard Cub doing My Chinchilla from 1993. I do believe it was released on an EP or on an LP record. I'm not sure. Having trouble pronouncing the name of the title of this LP or EP. Something Cola. That was from a Canadian band called Cub doing My Chinchilla, released back in 1993. Before that, the late David Bowie with Lazarus from his last album, Black Star. And Little Joe y La Familia doing a Freddie Fender cover, doing Before the Next Teardrop Falls. That one was released 10 years ago, believe it or not, by some record label called TDI Records, which I have no clue what that stands for, but yeah, we just heard Little Joe y La Familia doing Before the Next Teardrop Falls. That's a Freddie Fender cover. Before that, The Cure doing M from 1980's 17 Seconds. Joy Division with track 1 from their second and last album released back in July 1980 on the Factory Records label called Closer. We heard track 1. And we started those sets off with The Police doing Walking in Your Footsteps, Oh My God, and Mother off of the Synchronicity LP, which was released in June 1983 on the A&M Records label. And, of course, I started off my set off with 1980 by Herb Alpert. And from the Soul Tray History Yearbook, this is Herb Alpert. Yeah, but I didn't play Rise. I played 1980. That one is off of Rise. The one that comes after 1980. There's a song called Rise. Maybe your parents might remember General Hospital. It was featured on an episode of General Hospital when Luke and Laura were dancing at the campus disco and stuff. And I'm not going to get into any details because I'm not going to say what happened to Luke and Laura on the campus disco while they were dancing to 1980 by what's it called? 1980? No. General Hospital and Rise by Herb Alpert. And from the Soul Train History Yearbook, this is Herb Alpert.
Hi, this is Dr. Claw, and you're listening to KUNV 91.5 HD2 The Rebel, broadcasting live underneath Greenspan Hall on the campus of UNLV. Greetings, Inspector Gadget. Are you listening to this radio broadcast right now? Because if you are, I just want to let you know that I just played the theme from Charlie's Angels from an album called Sounds of the 70s, the TV themes by Harry Mancini. And now you're listening to The Pink Panther, also by Harry Mancini, from a CD entitled Music from the Pink Panther Movies. I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd rather stick with Dr. Claw instead of this host for some TV show. Even though I'm doing this radio show, I kind of wish I was on TV, hosting a TV show and stuff. Okay, let's go back to some music right now. You just heard 30 minutes worth of nonstop music. How about we get to the second half hour? Time for me to play some hard and heavy stuff. Okay, as some of you already know that I think it was on when was this? Hold on. Oh boy, it was a week ago. It was actually a week ago Saturday. Jerry Nichols of Heaven and Hell passed away. He died a week ago. He was 68 years old. He died from lung cancer last Saturday at the age of 68. He was surrounded by his family. I'm not even sure if there's a funeral going on. Give me a minute. Let me just check for a minute, okay? Just hold on. Whoa. Hold on. Ouch. Nichols. Okay. And from the Soul Train History Yearbook, this is Herb Albert doing Rise. That's the song I got playing right now. Okay. I think, well, there's some details about his funeral. Actually, it says here that the funeral will be held in Birmingham, England on February 20th at 1:45 p.m. The wake afterwards will be held at the Service Men's Club, which is close to where the service will be held. He died of lung cancer. He died after a long battle with lung cancer. He was 68 years old. Okay, it was confirmed by Sabbath guitarist Tony Iommi, who wrote on his former bandmate to perform on the albums with Heaven and Hell, because Tony Iommi was not only played in Black Sabbath, he also played in Heaven and Hell. This is what Tony Iommi has to say about his passing. I am so saddened to hear the loss of one of my dearest and closest friends, Jerry Nichols. He had suffered for a while now with lung cancer, and he lost his battle that morning. Jerry and I had always been very close, and he has been a real true friend to me. Suppose me all the way for nearly 40 years. I will miss him dearly, and he will live in my heart until we meet again. Rest in peace, my dear friend Jerry Nichols. Geezer Butler also added, very sad to hear of old friend and keyboard player Jerry Nichols' passing. Rest in peace, Jerry. Even Ozzy Osbourne says, Jerry Nichols was a great friend of mine. For a long time, he will be greatly missed. I'm very saddened at the news. Oh, so Ozzy's very, very upset too. He also played keyboards on most of Heaven and Hell's records. Somewhere between, and he also played on some on Tony Iommi's solo records between 1980 to 1995, and toured with those two bands. Was repeatedly in remission from cancer at the time of his death, but he lost his battle to the side effects of chemotherapy. His first appearance on a Heaven and Hell album was, of course, Heaven and Hell, released back in 1980. Although his main role with the band was on keyboards. Jerry Nichols also played some of rhythm guitar at concerts. In addition to not always been credited as a full member of the band, Nichols rarely appeared on stage with Heaven and Hell shows, and would instantly played on the side of the stage or backstage. His involvement with the band ended when Adam Wakeman, a member of Ozzy's solo band, was chosen to play during a Black Sabbath's 2004 and 2005 tours as part of Ozfest. Jeff Nichols also played keyboards with a singer called Tony Martin in his band. Tony Martin's Headless Cross. That band should have been called the Eternal Idols, but that's my opinion. Anyway, and he also performed on both of Tony Martin's solo records. Tony Martin said, "Saddened to hear the passing of Jerry Nichols, keyboard player and friend from heaven and hell. Safe journey, mate. Good day, mate. Looks like I lost $20. We don't have his address. He must have called for the pictures." Trying to talk in an Australian accent. "But he could have been a good friend of yours, sir, because his name is not George Reynolds. According to this piece of paper here, it says here that his name is Raymond Taylor." Pretty good Australian accent, right? Before joining Heaven and Hell, he was a member of the new wave of British heavy metal band, I can't pronounce it on the air, whose 1977 debut album was produced by Tony Iommi himself. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Jeff played lead guitar on the Birmingham band Johnny Neal and the Starliners. Well, that's about it. I'll tell you what. As soon as this disco record is over, why don't we get to hear some Heaven and Hell featuring Jeff Nichols on keyboards. On second thought, how about we get to that right now? Here's a Heaven and Hell doing Die Young from their 1980 self-titled debut album on the Warner Brothers Records label. Ronnie James Dio on lead vocals. Enjoy.